This is what happens when I get 2 days off in a row. I end up doing way more than I probably should have. Clean my hands real quick. I had to clean up before I came on because I work with Padauk today, which is an orange wood, and I always look like I just murdered a bag of Cheetos after I'm done working with it. Still getting, you can see the orange on my apron. I'm still getting orange stuff off my hands here. Good gracious. Whew. Got to do the hand dry flap. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Saturday Stating. We got so much freaking stuff to get through today. I gotta put a second coat of stuff on the things I did yesterday and a new coat on the other things. So much stuff. And I gotta wipe everything down. Good gracious. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Sorry, just wiping everything down before we get started. Got Yawara today. I got multiple Polynesian war clubs and a Cherokee Atasi war club, a bunch of Tessin, some Bocan, a Waster, and at least one vampire steak and a partridge in a fucking pear tree. All right. I did a Rudis out of Padauk this time. Never made one out of Padauk. I usually make them out of Purple Heart. We'll see how it goes. Hey, what's up, meme? Would I rather watch a tree grow or a knee go row? Oh, that's not funny. That's not funny. I see what you did there. That's not funny. All right. You guys always trying to get me to say weird stuff. Hey, Joe, what's going on? I'm doing good, meme. What are you up to? I got in here yesterday and did a bunch of projects, so I gotta put a second coat of tung oil on those first, and then I'll move on to the new stuff. Can I do a flip? Absolutely not. I can't do a flip. No, for so many reasons I can't do a flip. I think last time somebody came on here, they were like, do a kick flip. I'm like, that's not going to end. You want me to do a flip with this body in this economy? Are you kidding me? I can't afford to go to the hospital. A fish knocker. All right, get this bad boy. All right. I don't know if that one's gonna work. Yeah, I'm not even sure if I got enough room in the drying room for all this stuff today. Right? That's what I'm saying. I can't do flips, man. I'm a middle-aged man with a body that's riddled with old injuries. Like, ain't no way. I can't afford that. I can't afford the bills for that. No hospital for me right now, please. My medical insurance sucks. Oh, hell yeah. If you gotta go to the hospital, definitely go there with a cool ass reason. Hey, welcome, John from Wyoming. Just getting my projects from yesterday with their second coat of tung oil, and then we'll get the others done. These Tessin, they got their first coat of tung oil yesterday. These Tenarashi, I should say, they're not really Tessin. They're practice Tessin. Hey, what's up, Thomas? You're welcome, John. All right, let's put this away. One more. For those of you who are people who've been coming to my Saturday standing for a while, I finally got one of my, actually a few of my Polynesian war clubs finished. Well, ready to be finished anyway. I did, John. I had a good Thanksgiving. How about you? Hey, what's up, Thomas? All right. You get a new rag here. So my original Polynesian war club that I was working on, the wood itself has some issues that I'm going to have to work around. So I grabbed a new piece of Hawaiian rosewood and did a different design. This is the Polynesian war club. This is Hawaiian rosewood. It's going to get some shark teeth embedded in some trenches that I got in the front. I'll be doing that on my live in the morning for Sunday finishing work. But this thing is a beast. It's a little shorter than the other one, but it's much better balanced. I think it's going to look good when it's done. Oh, glad you had a good Thanksgiving, John. Does what hurt the wood? Rifle stock? No, this is actually a Polynesian war club style. I haven't made a rifle stock club yet. It's on my to-do list of war clubs that I'd like to make. Just haven't had a chance to make one yet. Lately, I've had a lot of people asking for Polynesian style stuff, so that's what I've been kind of working on a lot. And I've had a few Custom orders for some other Native American war clubs. Oh yeah, you went to Perkins for Thanksgiving? Dude, I tell you what. So normally I make a big ham for Thanksgiving, but I usually do like a half ham, like a spiral cut half ham. They were completely out of half ham, so I had to buy a whole ham. It's like an 18-pound freaking ham, dude. I'm gonna be eating ham sandwiches for like the next like 3 weeks. I'm gonna be eating ham sandwiches forever. I swear. But yeah, this is in a Cherokee Atasi War Club. I'm probably butchering that word, but I've made this is a different style. I made one a few weeks ago that was the oar paddle style. Or not oar style, but paddle style. This is also a paddle style, but it's a straight taper. It's a more traditional design for the Cherokee Atasis. All right, is that? Yes, it is. All right, that's all the stuff from yesterday. Now I gotta do the stuff from today. Oh, thanks, John. Yeah, it's Hawaiian rosewood, and that one I just did, the Atasi, that's American hickory. Tongue oil is what I'm using for the finish. What I do is I get Minwax tongue oil because it's already been diluted a little bit, and then I mix that with pure tongue oil. I pour pure tongue oil into it, so it has a little more tongue oil in it than normal. Just because you never know how much they dilute stuff. So I want to make sure enough tongue oil gets in it. These are new. This is Ipe ironwood. These are pocket Uwara. I make a lot of different kinds of Uwara in my shop. They're used for self-defense. They're also used in Kobudo and a few martial arts. A few different martial arts use palms. Some people call them palm sticks. Some people call them kubutan, but that's not quite correct. Kubutan is a very specific thing that was made by Kubota, but it was based on it. But yeah, just using regular tongue oil on these. But this is Ipe, which is a really nice wood, super strong. It's just shy of Kummeru in its Jenka hardness. I got lucky this last week. I had a job. I work in home renovations on my day job, and somebody was replacing a fence made of Ipe, and so they gave me all the Ipe. So I've got a crap ton of Ipe. So I'm making pocket Uwara, and I made some Polynesian clubs. And then tomorrow morning, these will get corded up. A cord will go into the holes there, and that anchors the stick to your hand. And you can use it as an extension of your fist. Oh, thanks, Brad. All right. But the tongue oil, what's nice about it is as it oxidizes, it dries hard. It almost dries like a resin. So when it penetrates the wood and gives it a sealant, it also reinforces the wood, makes it stronger. With stronger woods like Ipe, I tend to sand pretty high. I sand up to like 1,000 grit because it doesn't really need reinforcement. For stuff that is going to be used for sparring, that's, like oak, hickory, stuff like that, I tend to not sand it up that high because you don't want to close off all the grains. You want to make sure the tongue oil can penetrate. Especially on my bow cannon wasters, because I guarantee all my Bocan and wasters in my shop, if they break when they're not supposed to, I replace them for free. So it's very important to me that they're as strong as they can possibly be. Oh, you did stair treads in Kumaru? Oh my God, dude, it's so dense. Yeah, Nicholas, it's crazy. Yeah, I actually made a couple of Bokin out of Kumaru. The last couple of weeks, I've made a couple of Bokin out of it. And yeah, man, it's not easy to work. It is hard freaking stuff, dude. The Jenka hardness is like, the range is like between 3,200 and 3,700 pound force, which is nuts. If anyone's familiar with the Jenka scale, like that's about as high as you can get. That's pretty crazy. But this Ipe is not too far behind it. I think it's around 3,000. I'd have to go look, but I think it's around 3,000 Jenka hardness. Whew. Okay. New rag. Yeah, it's Cumaru, I think. But yeah, it's weird. It's hard spelling. Yeah, definitely not a versatile grain at all. Oh, dude, no. Like, so when I make new Bocan or wasters in my shop, I impact test them. And so usually the first one takes a little bit of damage whenever I impact test it. Not much, like a tiny dent. But when I used it on the Kumaru wood, it didn't even dent. Like I impact tested the Kumaru Bocan, and it doesn't dent. It didn't even budge. It didn't even take a scratch. And that was me smacking it against a lightly padded 4x4 as hard as I freaking could. And this is a Tonga Fijian War Club. This one's made out of Ipe, also known as ironwood to some people. Yeah, this one's not going to get any shark teeth or anything. This is just a traditional Tongan Fijian war club, mostly used by Polynesian tribes in Fiji. Hey, what's up, Accurate? Chef from GTA 5. What's up, Gamer Tag? How much would it be for one of these? Well, I'm probably going to list it for about $105 for this. But right now, everything in my shop's 15% off, so it'll probably be closer to $85 once it goes on sale. It'll get listed tomorrow. All right, let me put this bad boy up. Then I got this smaller. This one's also a Tongan design. It's more of a squared off design than that one. This one's also Ipe. It has like a taper on the tip, and then it tapers up to the tip and then tapers back in when you get to the striking tip, I guess for throat shots maybe, I don't know. And the difference with this one also, it's got a little hole. This design had a hole in the handle for a thong to be put on. I imagine so it can be tied to a belt, because it's a much shorter design. But probably would be used as like a tertiary weapon. You know, the thing you go to when all your other weapons are lost or broken. I'm always stroking wood, Green Thumb. That's what I do. Hey, thanks, Accurate. I am having a pleasant day. But yeah, Green Thumb, that's pretty much like I stroke my wood weekly, at least. Sometimes more than once a week. I'm constantly stroking wood. No, I'm good, Way Moist. Thanks. I'm not saying any more weird shit. But thanks for playing. All right. What else we got? Oh yeah. I got. What's up, Scratching for Millions? What's up, user? There's a few more things. I got one thing I got to stain this morning. I sold a couple of vampire steaks over the weekend here so far, so I got to add a few back. That's not good. Don't want that in there. There we go. This is a Rudis sword. These are used as trophies. I usually sell these to two specific groups of people seem to buy these. Mostly SCA, Boo Hurt, HEMA. They use these as trophies for their tournaments sometimes. And I sometimes have people buy these for military people who are getting out of the military. The Rudis was a wooden sword that was given to gladiators who had won their freedom. I usually make them out of Purple Heart, but I kind of wanted to see what it would look like with Padauk, so I made one out of Padauk. It's sanded up to 1,000 grit, so it's nice and shiny. Thanks, Just a Human Being. What's up, user? What's up, Op? But yeah, this one will get a handle. Tomorrow morning, it'll get a cowskin leather handle. And it'll go up on the shop. I already have a Purple Heart one up there. I was going to make another Purple Heart one today, but I just didn't have time to do two. So I figured I would just get the Padauk one done. I can do the other Purple Heart one next week. All right, let me put this one in the dry room. Before I went live today, I was almost late because I had to go like wash my face and my hands because that Padauk wood is orange, and every time I work with it, I look like a bag of Cheetos just exploded in my face. So I had like orange everywhere. You can still see the orange on some of my apron here, but there was just orange dust everywhere. All right, last couple of tung oil items. What up, Lignum? Lignum, are you a Lignum Vitae person? Yeah, Red Heart, yeah. Purple Heart does it too. I always look like I've murdered a Smurf after I work with Purple Heart because I just got purple dust everywhere. Alright, and this is European Beach. These are my Aikido Boken. They're one of the more expensive ones that I make. I make these from pressure treated European Beach. It is sturdy freaking stuff. It's got a good weight to it, but not too heavy. So you don't lose any speed on it. Some people want the heavy, which is fine. But for this, it's a damn good Boken. It's got a good weight and balance to it. And again, it is guaranteed not to break when it should not break. I make these from the same blanks that they use to make stuff like sledgehammer handles, axe handles, stuff like that. I wish I could get them longer. That's the only thing that sucks, because those blanks, the longest they sell them in is 36 inches. I wish they would sell them in 40 or more, because I would buy the hell out of them if they did. I would love to be able to make more standard size Boken out of this stuff, but I can't afford. If I had to buy just straight up European Beach and not get it this way, it would make them ridiculously expensive. because the blanks are pre-cut. It cuts down the amount of time I have to do them. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I work with baseball bats too. I make custom bats, and I've got everything from about the junior 26-inch up to the big boy 36-inchers in my shop. I make custom zombie apocalypse baseball bats in my shop. All kinds of weird shit. And this is white ash. This is just a standard medieval European waster. I have my standard length for these is 36 inches. This one is 32. So all I had was a 32-inch white ash blank left that I could use. So figured I'd make a short sword out of it. It'll probably be the only one I make. I've only got 2 pieces of that white ash that I was able to get. I've only got 2 pieces left, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to order more for a while. White ash is very hard to come by here in the U.S. because of the emerald ash borer. So all the white ash stuff, aside from Yawara, I've got a couple pieces. I'll be using those for Yawara because the grain configuration isn't correct on them. Is it a weapon, Dave? I mean, anything's a weapon if you try hard enough. But yeah, it's a practice sword. These are used by mostly armored combat and boo-hurt guys. I occasionally have people in SCA and HEMA buy them to use. I make custom ones quite often. I sell in my shop. I always keep some of the standard styles in stock. But if you have, like, a lot of times boo-hurt and armored combat guys and SCA and HEMA, they have particular weapons that they use, so they'll send me the dimensions of their practice weapon, and I will make a wooden version of it for them so that way they don't have to mess up their competition weapon. Although, for my boo-hurt and armored combat guys, I normally don't use tongue oil for them. They don't want it. They always want mineral oil soaks instead of tongue oil, which I get. Mineral oil, it requires a little bit more maintenance because you have to reapply it pretty much like every time you're going to use it. You know, like you probably, you know, like if you're going to have a weekend of practice, you need to oil it before that weekend. But the mineral oil, what it does is it softens the outer layer of the wood so that it tends to dent instead of crack. So my armored combat guys tend to like the mineral oil better. Sword and axe is out of wood. Well, yeah, that's a lot of people make really, really pretty wooden swords. My stuff's not pretty, but my stuff lasts. That's the difference. You can either buy something pretty that's going to snap the first time you use it, or you can buy something functional that will last you for a while. So that's what I tend to make. My stuff, it still has the same weight, balance, and dimensions as the weapons that it's meant to mimic, but it's not. There's no bells and whistles. It's not pretty. My pretty stuff's not meant to be used for sparring, and my sparring stuff is not meant to be pretty. So. Do I have a sample of a custom sword? Trying to think if I have any. Not really, not a custom one. I mean, all the stuff I have right now is in stock. Usually when I get a custom order, I make it and I send it. But you know, I've done like, you know, I've done like Copus, and you know, there's a lot of different styles that those guys use. They usually just tell me, hey, I need this. Here's the dimensions. Here's a picture. And they tell me what they want and I make it. Right, utility versus decorating, Thomas, exactly. You know, I can make pretty stuff. I do make pretty stuff, you know, like my Rudis swords. You know, I make good-looking swords, but, you know, I wouldn't tell anyone to ever use them for sparring because they'll probably survive it, but they won't look nice afterwards. And, you know, when you put a bladed edge of any kind or hard angles on a practice weapon, you're just creating a break point. And 9 times out of 10, the guys that are my competition that make wood practice weapons, they don't look at grain configuration. They don't look at, voids in the wood. They just grab it from a lot, stick it in a machine, and have it come out the other side. But JPC, if you go to my shop, the link's in my bio. If you go to the eBay shop, don't go to warriorwoodandprops.com. It's not functional right now. But if you go to my eBay shop, you can see all the different kinds of swords that I make. I make everything from... I make stuff for ninjutsu, kendo, kenjutsu. Well, not kendo, mostly kenjutsu. I make stuff for aikido, aikijutsu. I make stuff for HEMA, buhurt, SCA. I make stabs. I make any kind of practice weapon just about you're going to find in my shop. We got one single solitary vampire stake that I got to stain. Seems like I probably should have made more than one. I don't know. But I didn't think about that. It does seem weird that I'm breaking out all this just to stain one thing, but oh well. They see, oh, hey, Kit Kats, welcome back. No time for lazy stick makers, indeed. All right, my sticks are made to last. And my sticks aren't necessarily ugly. Like the ones that are made to last, they look good for what they are. But I don't sacrifice functionality for aesthetics. It just doesn't work. It's like I make Ninja Toe Boken, for example, and a lot of people, when they buy a Ninja Toe Boken from me, they're surprised as shit on how thick it is when they get it. Because a lot of times those Ninja Toe Boken that they sell, the mass-produced ones, they're like a half an inch thick. Like the blades are just flimsy as shit. And they snap all the time because they don't configure the grain. Hey, what's up, Alan? What's up, John? No idea how to say that name, but I'm just going to call you Hilo. Hey, how's it going? Kit Kats, how are things? You're in Scotland, right? How are things today? Am I remembering that right? You're in Scotland, correct? Oh, absolutely, yeah. 100%, Thomas. Yeah, the natural wood grain. And I always tell people, if you're going to buy like a mass-produced Boken or a mass-produced waster, if it's painted, don't buy it. Because a lot of times, the reason they paint them is because there's something wrong with the wood and they're trying to cover it up. So a lot of times, they put it through the machine. The stuff that looks good gets a clear coat, gets sent off. The stuff that looks bad goes into another pile. They stuff if there are voids in it, they stuff it with wood filler. They try to cover up all the issues with the wood. Then they paint it black, put a freaking handle wrap on it, carve a dragon in the side or some stupid shit. And then they sell it to you for like 20 bucks more, even though you're buying a crappier Boken. You're actually buying a less durable weapon for more money just because they added more bells and whistles to it. Matter of fact, I keep one in my shop because I keep meaning to do a longer form video on what to look for with machine cut Boken. I'll show it to you guys after here. If you're spending 20 bucks on a Boken, do not put any faith in it. It's not going to last you. Yeah, absolutely. Axes and knives, same thing. They'll make it pretty. Honestly, 9 times out of 10, the prettier and more like the more decoration something has, a lot of times the worse it is. Like when I did armored combat, which was a very brief period, I just used the normal broadsword, and of course, when I bought my first practice weapon, I bought something nice and cool looking and all that stuff. It did not do well. I bought the ugliest piece of crap out there because I needed a replacement and it was cheaper. I bought that thing. That thing lasted me for years. It's fucking amazing. Steve, you're calling OSHA? It's not paint. It's just water-based stain. And don't worry, as soon as I end the live, I turn on all the air scrubbers. Don't worry, I promise you. I have a respirator. I wear air scrubbers. I have air scrubbers and I wear respirators. It's hard to communicate on a live stream while I'm wearing a mask. So, but as soon as my lives are over, I turn the air scrubbers on and I get out of this room. Oh yeah, I probably should have put this away before I took my gloves off. That probably would have been smart. Oh yeah, Kit Kats, the Christmas lights were underwhelming. Sorry to hear that. Already got Christmas lights up out there, huh? Good gracious. Like, look at this. Like, I am still getting orange stuff off of my hands. like, my hands are freaking orange on the palms. I'm still getting pedalk dust off of my hands. It's gonna be like that all day. All right, so here's an example of what I'm talking about. This is a Boken you can probably get online just about anywhere for about 20 bucks, right? It's supposed to be oak. I can tell you right now just by the weight of it that it's not oak. It's painted. It says it had, when I bought it, it said it was clear lacquer. This is not clear lacquer. That is straight up paint. And I love when they throw a pretty little wrap on the handle, like that's supposed to make anything better. But sometime in the future, I'm going to do a long form video on how to, if you're going to buy a machine cut Boken, how to make sure you don't get ripped off, because like, you can just look on the sides of this and you can see all the imperfections in the wood. Stick harvesting time. Kit Kats, I can tell you what, if you get any blackthorn, you let me know. I would be willing to buy a stick or two of blackthorn off of you, because I can't get it here. At least not unless I'm going to pay a ridiculous amount of money. Importing blackthorn has gotten very expensive. It's been a while since I've been able to do that. I made a custom shillelagh for a guy about 2.5 years ago, maybe 3. Out of blackthorn. Stuff's awesome. You thought it was just dusty. You did? Jay, what are you talking about? I don't know what we're talking about, Jay. That's right. Like, I hate that I have this weird angle that you guys have to look at me like with this weird, like, Kubrick stare angle. Oh, the Boken. No, it's not dusty. No, it just has imperfections in it. It's a piece of crap. But every day, those guys, they go and they'll buy those because they're 20 bucks, where they could turn around and buy one of mine for 40. Is it twice as expensive? Yes. But that's going to last you 1, maybe 2 uses, and it's going to break. One of mine is going to last you years. I have people who have bought Boken and wasters from me over a decade ago that are still using the same ones. They last for a while, which is probably why, like, especially my wasters, I don't sell a lot of wasters. The reason that I don't sell a lot of wasters is because my wasters last way too long. It's a problem with making a good product. But the good news is that when my customers do need a replacement, they almost always come back to me, because they know my stuff is guaranteed and they know it lasts a long time. I've been doing the no-break guarantee on my Boken and wasters for about 3 years now. In that time, I've only had to replace one. Oh, don't get shot in the ass, Kit Kats. Please don't. No, don't poach any blackthorn. Please don't get shot in the caboose. I would feel horrible about that. But yeah, in the last 3 years, I've only once had to replace a bow cannon. Honestly, it was user error, but I kind of took a pity on the guy. He was a younger guy. He was just kind of starting out learning to do sword work and didn't really know what he was doing, so I just kind of took it as a learning opportunity. He was using a steel practice dummy that was embedded in the ground in concrete and was smacking it against, basically smacking my bow cannon against steel and wondering why it was breaking because he didn't pad it at all. So I showed him how to like affix tires and stuff to his practice dummy so he didn't keep burning through his bow cannon. Stay still, you're almost done. Are you drawing me like one of your French girls, Van Wake Up? If so, I want to see. What is the coolest piece I've ever made? That's a tough one. What are we talking about? Like, are we talking about like just the coolest thing I've ever made in general? Or like the coolest practice sword I've ever made? Because there's a big difference there. Probably the coolest thing I've made recently, like I make a lot of zombie apocalypse baseball bats, for example, and I've made crazy stuff. I've made ones with spikes, nails. You know, I've made all kinds of Negan bats with barbed wire. I've made a Nightmare on Elm Street themed one. I've made a Hello Kitty one. I've made a Barbie themed one. I've had all kinds of different bats. I made a unicorn bat once with a resin unicorn, glittery unicorn horn that had an LED light in it with a switch so you could turn the light on and the horn would light up that you could swing like the horn was like a spike coming out of the side of the bat. I've got one bat. You don't know all my stuff. Well, Thomas, let me go get a bat. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I feel like I end up showing this bat on every live, but it's for the new people. So bear with me, guys who have been here before. I'll be right back. Don't leave. So this isn't even the coolest thing I've ever made. This is just the coolest thing I have right now. I call this one the no-brainer. It is an Axe baseball bat. It's got a table saw blade embedded in both sides. 2 halves embedded in both sides with industrial epoxy and plumber's putty. I have impact tested it. These are not going anywhere. I configured it so that the teeth face down on both sides, so no matter which way you swing, the teeth move in the direction of the swing. It's got a pretty little neon orange paint job with a reverse stencil that says no brainer on both sides. But yeah, I make all kinds of weird shit. Like the custom baseball bats, I tend to make most of those around the holidays. I've made some for some influencers. If any of you guys know, like Refashioned Hippie, I made a Balenciaga baseball bat for Refashioned Hippie. She's here on YouTube. Nugs the Final Girl, her Lights Out Meatball. Nugs the Final Girl nail bat. I made her nail bat. Nugs the Final Girl is also here on YouTube. I think she's on Instagram as well. So is Refashioned Hippie. But like last year, I had a guy, he wanted a machete bat. So I made a bat with a machete blade embedded in one side with the tip just coming about an inch off from the top. And then 2 rows of spikes, a little crown of spikes going around the backside. A knuckle duster bat? What with like a trench knife handle? Is that what you're saying? Something like that. But yeah, this one was actually a proof of concept. I had a custom order earlier this year for a guy. He wanted the baseball bat from the video game Days Gone, which looks basically just like this. It just doesn't have a paint job. So his didn't have the paint. His was just distressed wood with a basic athletic tape wrap. I made mine prettier just because my proof of concepts, I can do whatever I want. So But I made this one to make sure I could make his. A lot of times when I have a custom order and it's something I haven't done before, I'll make a proof of concept just because I want to make sure I can actually do it. And then I turn around and I sell the proof of concept. So this is actually on sale right now on my shop. Just so you know. This is actually available on my eBay shop. If you're interested. I sell my proofs of concept because I don't really, otherwise I would never have any room. And right now, like I'm working on, and this isn't a custom order, but I'm working on a lot of weird stuff. Like right now I'm working on a set of candy cane vampire steaks. They're basically, I call them Santa Slayer. They're basically going to be candy canes that look like steaks. I can't paint this weekend though. I can't work around enamel or any oil-based stuff until next week because I got I got exposed on a job site last week and ended up having to take a couple of sick days because I ended up getting toxic fume poisoning, which is not fun, by the way. Don't do that. Wear your respirators, boys and girls. I was not wearing a respirator because I was in a house painting the ceiling. I was in the upstairs, and downstairs they started spraying enamel paint everywhere and didn't tell me, so I didn't put my respirator on. By the time I figured it out, it was too late. So, well, you guys want to see more weird shit, or are we calling it a day? What do you think? I can go grab a few more things to show you guys if you want. Hang on, I'll be right back. I don't have anything else this cool. Whoop, let's try not to tear down my partition. All right, we were talking about Kumaru earlier, so I grabbed some Kumaru stuff as well. Here we go. Now, these are both Kumaru wood. This is a Polynesian Pahoa dagger. It's a Hawaiian design. This is actually a replica of a museum piece. The Pahoa is a very, very nice stabbing implement. It's got a conical tip. It was made for the stabby stabby. This one's a Maori design. This is also Kumaru wood. So it has a Jenka hardness of 3,200 to 3,700 pound force. But yeah, also good for the stabby stabby. But please don't stabby stabby with my stuff. I don't want to end up on the news that way. And these are, I don't sell as many of these as I used to. These are my Monkey King cudgels. They're long stabs. It's got a center cord wrap with this is the gold and bronze style that I do. I sold a lot of these when Black Myth Wukong came out. I've been making these for like a year before that game came out. And suddenly sold out of all the ones I had. Now I just keep a few in stock. I sell one every now and then. Mostly around the convention season and maybe one or two around Christmas. And this is the brown version. It has a hammered bronze studs instead of the shiny bronze, and it's got a brown handle wrap. Kinky. Let's see. You guys want to see? Here's another club I'm working on. This one's not done yet. Not even close. I had to cut it shorter. This one's going to be, there's some voids that opened up. It looks like maybe it had some wormholes in it. So I gotta shave this part out because there's some voids and I gotta make sure those voids don't go into the wood. If all goes as planned, I should be able to shave this off, and I'm gonna put shark teeth here and here. And this will be a Polynesian War Club. This is Hawaiian rosewood. It'll get a cool little handle wrap, all that jazz. but I got to figure out those void issues. I do have one other weird thing here in the shop that's still a work in progress, kind of. I'll go grab it. Excuse me. I still need to finish this thing. I worked on this like 2 years ago and I still haven't finished it. This was my first kind of experiment into embedding spikes. And it was my first time working with 5-minute epoxy. And if you've ever worked with 5-minute epoxy, you have to be very careful with that shit because it gets everywhere. So I embedded these spikes into this piece of Southern Live Oak just to see if I could do it, to figure out how to embed the spikes. But I got epoxy everywhere. So I've been trying to figure out if I can sand that off or what. I don't know. It's got a crack in it. I'm not even sure if it's worth finishing. This was mostly just an experiment. Negan. I make Negan bats. I've made quite a few Negan bats, actually. That's how I started with the bats, was back in the day when The Walking Dead was really popular. I would get custom orders all the time to make Lucille's. Like functional Lucille's. So I did. But, and then I had somebody ask me if I could make a Hello Kitty version of Lucille, so I did. It was really cool. It was a white bat with like with pink and white, or pink and red barbed wire, and it had a pink handle and Hello Kitty stickers all over it. It was pretty awesome. And then I had somebody ask me if I would make a Nightmare on Elm Street version, so I made a Nightmare on Elm Street version of it. I made another one for another person. I can't remember what it was. It's kind of like Hello Kitty, but it's like a goth Hello Kitty. I'm not quite sure what it's called, but I made a version of that for them. I made a Puerto Rican Negan bat one time. A guy wanted a bat that was painted like the Puerto Rican flag with barbed wire on it, so I did that. Kurami, yes, that was it. So I made a Kurami Lucille one time. That was fun. But yeah, I have made every possible, probably not every possible, but a lot of different kinds of Negan bats. You like crazy stuff. I made a poop emoji bat for some reason, which is still in my shop because nobody wants to buy it. Because who wants a poop emoji bat? I didn't really think about people buying it when I made it. I just kind of had a thought and I acted on it. I have ADHD, if that's not painfully obvious. So sometimes the movement from thought to action, there's not a lot of hesitation in there. Let me go see if I can grab. Let me see what other weird shit I got I can show you guys. Hang on. All right. So I brought some weird shit, some not so weird shit. These are cross vampire steaks. These are replicas of a steak. I've made multiples of these. These are a replica of a steak that was in a 19th century vampire hunter kit. I had a lady probably about 3 years ago. She had gone to like a goth auction at a goth club, and they had a 19th century vampire hunter kit. It was like $5,000, and she didn't have $5,000, so she sent me pictures of all the steaks, and she asked me if I would just make replicas for her. So I did. So I did replicas of all the different kind of steaks. This was one of my favorites, so kept making these. This is also Kummeru wood. This is an assassin stiletto. This is based on a stiletto style used by the Hasansins or Hashishins, depending on which historian you believe. And these are based on the kind of stiletto weapons that they used. They actually did, believe it or not, assassins did use wood stilettos. The reason was it was a one and done weapon. You could get in, get this up under the ribs, get it into the heart, pull it out, run like hell. Fire wasn't hard to find back in the day. So you toss this into a fire, your weapon is gone. Steaks like vampire steaks, my guy, not those kind of steaks. Different kind of steak. Like a wooden steak, not a beef steak. I also make bone knives, or bone daggers. These are made from deer leg bones. I used to clean them and polish them and stuff, but I found that my biggest buyers of these are Wiccans, who buy them as atame daggers for rituals. And they don't want no chemicals. It has to be all natural materials. So all of these are used with all natural materials. I don't bleach them. I don't polish them. I don't do anything. For slaying werewolves, you're in the UK. Wait, why did you follow up the question about if I have stuff to slaying werewolves with? You're in the UK. Is there a werewolf problem in the UK that I'm not aware of? Wait, what's going on over in the UK? You want to hunt down a deer with these? Let me get this straight. You want to hunt down a deer and kill it like melee style with a knife made out of deer bone? I can't tell if that's insane or beautiful. I think it's a little bit of both. I love that. Hey, what's up, Raul? I don't have anything for slaying werewolves. However, all you really need, according to the old school lore, is a bar of iron, my guy. If the werewolf comes at you, all you have to do is throw the bar of iron directly over the werewolf's head, and the werewolf will revert to human form. That is real. That is an actual part of werewolf lore. I have a master's degree in mythology, by the way, and I write books on mythology for Penguin Random House as one of my other jobs. So yeah, just carry a bar of iron around with you. You'll be fine. I honestly don't know if that works or not. I've never tested it, but according to the lore, it works. So good luck. Let me know if it works for you. What a hairline. I know, man. It's the mohawk completely shows off the hairline, my guy. It does. I'm old, dude. Leave me be. At least I'm not bald yet. I'm getting there though. But yeah, I'm probably a few years short of just shaving it all off, my guy. It's definitely going back. And this is the unbreakable bowkin I was talking about earlier. This is completely made out of Kummeru wood. It's 40 inches, 10-inch handle. This comes with a 5-year no-break guarantee. If it breaks under normal use within 5 years, I replace it for free. Oh, it's all good, Scooby. Well, my thoughts about wooden armor, well, it depends on the context. I mean, to be honest, wooden armor, if you're dealing with melee weapons, any armor is good armor. Unless it's made of paper. And even then, to be honest, you could make armor out of paper. I've seen people make body armor out of paper that stops bullets. But, wood armor, you had wicker armor and stuff like that. It worked well, especially bronze in the Bronze Age and early Iron Age. Wood armor was a thing. It did exist. Leather, wood, it did the job. Wooden armor was a thing, but you got to remember the time period they were in. The weapons in the early Iron Age and Bronze Age, those weapons, you couldn't put a whole lot of power behind them because they weren't super strong and they didn't do a great job on the battlefield of sticking together. That's why everybody had such short stuff. But mostly armor up until the Iron Age, where we started doing chainmail and plate. Very few armor types were stab proof. They were mostly for slashes, cuts, and blunt damage weapons, blunt force trauma weapons. Most armor was built for those, which is why throughout the years there's always been this weird debate between the people developing weapons for soldiers and what soldiers actually do. because most military weapons are made for the stabby, which is what you should be doing, is the stabby. But soldiers are always wanting to do the swinging stuff. And the swinging stuff looks cool, but the stabby does a much better job. The Japanese did use bamboo, but they did it interwoven with silk, which is different. Bamboo and silk together made a very good armor. Again, it's great against arrows. It's great against swords. It's not going to stop an arrow at point blank range, but, most of the time that wasn't what you were dealing with. Most of the time, any armor is good armor, if you're dealing with melee weapons. Any armor is better than no armor. Let's just go with that. They got the boom, yeah, single shot rifles with 0 accuracy. Yeah, that was the bitch about firearms when they first came around. That's why most people didn't use them. Firearms were around way before they became commonplace on the battlefield. The reason why is because they were a pain in the ass to keep up with, because once you fired it once, if you were closing distance with the enemy, that thing was no more useless. You either used it to fight with as a melee weapon, or you had to find somewhere to put it while you finished the fight, or end up losing your weapon, which was expensive. Hey, what's up, Bethan? Yes, Lord Alcatraz, they did. Matter of fact, most karate weapons were farm tools. Like the tonfa was a handle on a grinding wheel. The kama was for harvesting rice. The sickle kama was for harvesting rice. Even the yawara, which I make yawara in my shop, the yawara was the backing to a little pillow that wasn't technically a weapon. They weren't allowed to carry weapons, so they made weaponry out of things that weren't weapons. Yes, man, Dan, Chunky Boy is talking about karate and weapons. Thank you for that. Yeah, Minutemen were impressive with the reloads, because those things were not easy. Why did I walk into a live with a chunky middle-aged man talking about karate and weapons? Well, yeah, I mean, anyone can rule any land with superior tech. That's usually what it comes down to. A really good book, Guns, Germs, and Steel. I think that's what it's called, if I'm getting that right. It's a pretty good book. I haven't read it in years, obviously, because I can't remember the title. But it's all about that, about how most of the dominant landowning cultures just happened to get lucky because they had more guns, more germs, and more steel. The old E-tool. E-tools are fun for the hack and slash for sure. You're here for the hairline scoop? Oh, the ones that I oiled up yesterday. I just did the second coat at the beginning of this live. They're in the room behind me. They're gonna get finished up tomorrow morning. By the way, if you want to come back for my live tomorrow morning, I go live on Sunday mornings at 7:30 a.m. when I do all my finishing work, where I do my handle wraps and all that kind of jazz. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. So anyway, guys, let me go put these up. If you got any questions, stick them in the chat. I'm about to call it a day. And if you're interested in anything you saw on my live today, the link to my eBay shop is in my bio. Warrior Wood and Props. WarriorWoodandProps.com is there. Shopify, for whatever reason, had some kind of issue over the summer, which I have not been able to remedy, and their support sucks. So my main website is there, but it doesn't really work. So use eBay. Behind the curtains where the magic happens. Yeah, that's just my drying room, man. It's just where all the stuff that I oiled, I just put it in there to dry. It's also where I do my finishing work in the morning. With his barber. Scooby, I am so sorry that my hair is causing you so much distress, my guy. Hey, take it easy, J-Dad. Take care. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I gotta go put some more of this stuff up. You know, it's funny. I never planned on having a mohawk. My son and I had been playing chicken about getting mohawks together for like a couple of years. And it was probably about 2 years ago, though. On Christmas, he's like, Dad, let's go get mohawks. Like, I'm ready. Let's go do this. So we went to the barbershop to get mohawks together. Long story short, I ended up with a mohawk, and he did not. So I kept it, damn it. I'm keeping this mohawk. Hey, take it easy, Methan. Hey, I appreciate that, human being. Take care. All right, you guys, I'm out. If you're up tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time, please come and join me. Yeah, just, you know what? That's what you do, Scoob. Just tell them do whatever, man. Just tell them to go nuts. Yeah, that's my problem. Is like most of the people can't even tell I have a mohawk until I turn around, because I don't ever style it. I'm so fucking lazy. I just don't do it. Every once in a while I will style it. For the most part, I just get up in the morning, put water in it, push it over to the side, and go to work because I don't have much free time. I'm hoping that one of these days I'll actually get to go to a rock show or a punk show and actually do my hair. But I haven't been able to go to a concert in like a decade. I just don't have time. I have too many jobs. I know. See, I feel like my mohawk is like the new mullet because it's like business up front but a party in the back, right? Like that's what this is. They're basically the skullet. The skullet mohawk is the new mullet. Because like I even remember, like I had to get headshots for my work a couple years ago when I had this, and I was very worried about it. Then I realized they were only taking pictures from the front, so I just combed my hair normal in the front. You couldn't tell I had a mohawk. I got Skrillex hair half the time. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, Skrillex, he had the whole like shaved on the side thing. Right? No, I know. That honestly is my fault. I just never do anything to it. So my hair's just kind of whatever most of the time. I should probably pay more attention to my appearance considering how often I'm on camera now. But like I said, I have really bad ADHD. The odds of me, like I have to be told to do something with my appearance. Like if my girlfriend and I are going somewhere, she has to be like, okay, so listen, here's how you need to appear because I will not. There was a period where like I would show up to functions in like cargo shorts and a t-shirt because I didn't know I was supposed to dress a certain way. Well, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me. I got to bail. But like I said, if you're up at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, I will be live for like at least probably about 2 hours because I have a ton of stuff that I need to finish up. Yeah, absolutely. Alcatraz, death and existential dread are way more important to me than my hair. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep the existential dread at bay at this point. All right, I appreciate that, Scoob. I'll see you in the morning, my guy. Everybody, take care. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you all tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time, if you're awake at that ungodly hour. Later, everybody.